Welcome back to Talk Fame to Me with B.Lynette, the show where the fame game gets cracked open and the industry tea comes piping hot. Tonight, we're talking radio payola, alleged crimes like money laundering and racketeering, and why DJ Funkmaster Flex name is buzzing in this mess. And oh, yes, the timeline might just point to Senator Marsha Blackburn instead of Drake as the spark behind this whole probe. Let's get into it. So let's start with DJ Funkmaster Flex. A New York legend, his cosign can still move a record. His bums are iconic, and his reach on the airwaves is undeniable. But word on the curb, and I stress allegedly, is that Flex and other DJs may have been tied to payola type behavior. In plain English, slipping cash, perks, or favors for spins without disclosing it to listeners. That's not just shady, it's a violation of FCC law. The FCC governs the public airwaves, and if you're not labeling paid spins as sponsored, that's illegal. Now, let's be clear. Drake's lawsuit against UMG was about streaming manipulation, bots, inflated numbers, shady promo tactics on digital platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Radio Payola is a separate battlefield. DJs allegedly boosting records for envelopes and perks. Different platforms, same question. Is the game being rigged? And I'll say this. I like Drizzy. I respect the man's music and business moves. Whether or not he had a hand in this radio heat, one thing's undeniable. When Drake makes a move, the whole industry feels it. Period. Drake's team did drag iHeartRadio into legal filings earlier this year. Let's not forget that, okay? iHeart denied wrongdoing, fought it, and pushed to clear their name. But once the biggest radio network in America gets mentioned in court documents about manipulation, the FCC and the feds can't help but look twice. So, the shady question is, did Drake's lawsuit spotlight radio enough to invite federal attention, or was something else already brewing? Here's where things get real interesting. Some say Drake didn't like the match at all. It was Senator Marsha Blackburn. So, on January 30th, 2025, she sent a letter to FCC Chairman Brendan Carr claiming radio stations were allegedly leaning on artists to perform free concerts or listener appreciation shows in exchange for airtime. In other words, a new form of payola, not bags of cash, but still value for spins. And guess what? Within days, the FCC issued a public advisory reminding broadcasters that any payment, perk, or favor tied to airtime must be disclosed. That was earlier February, right around the time Drake's lawsuit was grabbing headlines. So, ask yourself, did Blackburn's letter force the FCC's hand to start digging into radio before Drake's lawsuit ever hit the news cycle? Is it possible Drake's case got the press, but Blackburn's pressure is what got the regulators moving? And if that's true, who really set this probe in motion? Champagne Poppy or Capitol Hill? Now, the chatter doesn't stop at payola. Allegedly, some whispers say money laundering, racketeering, even RICO type schemes could be tied to the way radio and labels handle spins. Do I have proof? No. Am I saying Funkmaster Flex or anyone else is guilty? No. But that's the kind of language floating in the industry back channels right now. And if the feds are even entertaining those words, we're not just talking shady DJ hustle, we're talking potential organized crime territory. Let's stir things up. Was this probe sparked by Drake's lawsuit, Senator Blackburn's letter, or a messy mix of both? If the FCC is really watching, do DJs, labels, or artists have the most to lose? And if payola's been fueling hits for decades, what happens when the feds flip the lights on? At the end of the day, I'm not saying Funk Flex or any DJ is guilty. I'm not saying Drake masterminded a probe either. But the facts are Drake raised questions on the digital side. iHeart got dragged into court filings, and at the same time, Senator Blackburn pressed the FCC on radio conduct. Suddenly, federal eyes are looking at both sides of the industry. Coincidence or coordination? You decide. This is Talk Fame to Me with B.Lynette, where the tea is never free, but the shade is always complimentary. I'll see you on the next one.